making a pattern.
We don't waste our cutting it out of this so we don't waste our
Good wood.
Over the next week and several weeks, we spent repairing Norna and trying to improve her from the many years that she spent in the tropics.
Okay. Finished the last of the sanding on the mast. Gonna get the varnish tomorrow to start building up coats and filling up places that are bare wood. Good morning. So this morning I am going through the mast and wiping it all down with mineral spirits and getting it all ready to do the first coat. So I got a little sample of the oakum Hamilton Marine. It's a little dry, don't like the dryness of it. It's definitely not what we're looking for. We need something with a lot more linseed or oily base. The other stuff that we got was real oily. The dry stuff we actually used in the back deck, and that stuff broke down very quickly. So the dry oakum is no good. I'm definitely, this is not what we want. We want the nice, real oily stuff with the real tarred stuff in it. So it's been a little bit spendy, but luckily we got a little work, so we got a little money to be able to spend. You know, we had to buy stuff at Home Depot, obviously. Sandpaper, rags, mineral spirits, paint, you know, all of it adds up. It all adds up to something. So it's not always cheap, but you know, luckily we're finding work. It's probably time to find more work, that way we can kind of keep the project going, because we had to buy wood, and we're going to have to buy more wood and more things for the boats, so, and also we got to eat, so.
I spent time varnishing and improving some of the parts of the deck and the mast, and many parts of Norna that we had covered with water-based paint, and it worked good in Florida, but now that we're in Maine, we wanted to sort of freshen her up. Norna would have patina, but we knew that we could live with the patina. She's not exactly an old boat, but she's been in the tropics.
Knock a chunk of that out. That was rotten anyway. Oh, jeez. It's like that end's too long. That might just be because that has to come up.
Nice.
For those of you that have just started viewing or just subscribed, Norna is a 38-foot wooden lap strake boat that was built in Denmark by Flemming Jorgensen. She was launched in 1988, so I think it took Flemming about 10 years to build her. It had a propane explosion about 10 years ago, and Pete got the boat for $10.
Pete's Thor hammer.
I can live with that. I think that's gonna do it.
Awesome.
One little gappage right down here, but I think epoxy will fill that.
Yeah.
Just gotta get tapped in a little bit here.
You need room for epoxy anyway. Putting Norna back together. Hello there. Where the heck am I now?
About 5 or 6 years ago, Pete and I took Norna across the Atlantic. Sailed her across the Atlantic. on a 2-year Atlantic circumnavigation.
It's a little better. Now I'm going to go to the front and sand the front down a little bit.
The spline, I made the spline too big on the bottom, so I made it fit, but then the top is smaller, so I'm going to do it like, so this top spline's a little smaller, so I got to make it a little smaller to fit the top one, and I'll just glue that in. So the bottom can stay the same, but the top has to be.
What's a spline for?
Just holds the two together.
Amongst all the work we're doing now, we do try to take a break.
It is now tea time. Hi! Pete is fitting a piece of wood over there. He's doing a most excellent job, by the way. I am going to take some aluminum foil and cover everything black. Okay, ready?
Tap it towards the, that way. That's probably good. Alright.
Good job, Pete. Wow, a lot of work there. This seam right here came down.
Yeah. The bolt goes right through there, and that should
tighten it up. Wow, that's crazy. Ready for paint.
This came all the way from England.
Well,
must be some good stuff.
Here we go.
Read instruction for use. Melting temperature of 200 degrees centigrade.
All the tape off of iota over there.
Here's some of the work we've been getting.
The hatches all varnished. Sleeve varnished. Along with the reflection of the GoPro. Oh well. Guess I gotta go up there. Rah, rah. Okay. So you can see this lovely varnish. What you doing now, Pete?
Gluing this mess together.
Last year we sailed Norna to Maine, and we plan to keep her in Maine, just to keep her out of the tropics for a little while.
Second coat, you don't have to sand between coats, which is nice.
Chopping out some more rock. I'm gonna glue a piece in here.
There's so much to see in the area. We have a little bit of time to do it, but first, fix Norna.
To this area, or at least got it started to put a new piece over here.
Well, I was going around in behind the car.
Splicing in new wood. It says Perkins. Alright. Good morning. This morning I'm going to go through the mast, and all I'm going to do is fill in any of the bare wood spots with some varnish, and I'm going to keep doing that until the wood is totally filled, and then I'm going to scuff it down real lightly and put one last coat on. This hatch, actually, I'm going to put some varnish on today. Hi.
While Pete repaired any of the rot in the decks, I started sanding off any of the water base and putting Lee Tokens varnish on everything. It was good to do before the decks were ready.
I love varnishing, it's so rewarding. Alright, ready for this? Okay, here's the before and the after. Look at that. Before, after.
Our plan was, once the decks were fully patched and repaired, Pete would then lay the decking that was torn out, and we could hammer the new cotton and oakum in. Meanwhile, I would work on the varnish and improve Norna in that regard.
What about over here, how you get?
I'm just going to take this one out all the way so we can replace that and that. I was just check. This is a good place to check because this one was actually bad, see? So I'm going to take that skinny one out and the one next to it. And then maybe one more. That'll probably be it, just this one. And then I was thinking I might cut the ends off of these and put a sister rib up underneath. And then just have this board come out. You'll lay a piece of oak on top of that that's rounded over.
Like a Carlin, sort of.
Yeah. I might do the same thing on the other side, just from here over. But then here I'll leave them all the way.
Okay.
Give it a little extra.
The week continued on with hours and hours of sanding.
Wow.
Nice and solid. That's good news there.
Yeah.
Gotta fuck with that one.
That's good.
But that's a good thing we took out that plank and we can kind of.
Check it. It was bad in there.
Well, yeah, not totally, but the screws are.
Dunsky.
Yeah.
Beautiful black dog sitting up the bus.
Now that I could fully take the time to actually varnish Norna, instead of always being in the tropical heat and the sun in Florida, I could actually fully enjoy varnish again. Especially Lee Tokens. I really love that varnish. It is such an easy varnish to apply, and it's actually linseed and tung oil based, so no sanding between coats.
A beer with Greg, and now they're loading up his boat. I'm gonna launch it. That's an awfully big rig for the for the little boat.
Yes, I know. It does look pretty big, doesn't it? I'll show you a picture of that lobster.
Oh yeah. They caught a giant lobster.
The mission's getting warm over there if you want
Oh,
one.
really? Yeah.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Yay! Morning. I'm making blueberry pancakes. I didn't have a big enough bowl, so I had to use 2 bowls. And last night I made eggplant parmesan. It was delicious. I had some of this breading. This is really good. It's gluten-free breadcrumbs. Gosh, it was so good. It turned out really good. Now we have a bunch of blueberries, so we're gonna make some. You gotta make blueberry pancakes. These are gluten-free as well. I think it's buckwheat flour. There's a really great store here. It's called
Eggamogan Country Store.
well, that too. Actually, I could actually get my own beer. Like, they had a lot of choices of gluten-free.
The Eggamogan Reach Regatta.
That's gonna be next week for you guys, but it's gonna be this weekend for us. You'll see us sailing around in the Eggamogan Reach Regatta. If it is next week, we might be doing daily. I don't know by then. Anyways.